Welcome, insufferable space cadets. Your old pal Rosser here. Last time, we attempted to mount a rescue mission, but it was the rescuer who now needs rescuing. Because the engine didn't fire. Why didn't the engine fire? I have no idea. So I guess it's back to the drawing board on that one. Let's get started. Alright. This here Mark III didn't work for some reason. I'm sure there's a very logical and accurate reason why that is, but I do not know it. So for now, I guess we're going to have to scrap this particular idea and try something else. So let's take off some of this extra stuff and rework it from scratch. What do we got? We have... what is this thing? I do not remember what this is. I'm sure it was something very important. Well, for one thing, we're going to have to actually be able to make it back to the ground. Also, we're going to need room to take on a passenger. If we're getting back to the ground, we'll probably want a parachute. One that fits would be nice. Do we have one that fits? This one looks like it might do the trick. We'll go with it. Alright, what else do we need? We need propulsion once we're actually in space, but we don't need a ton of it, so we just need enough to do a couple of small maneuvers and get back. So we'll go with an efficient engine. The atomic one was pretty efficient. What else we got? 390 in vacuum, 800 in vacuum, yeah. We'll just use it for now. Oh, I suppose the SAS would help. Don't want to forget that. Definitely don't want to forget that. And we need this. We need some RCS thruster blocks. But before, I couldn't get them to work, and I'm not sure why that was. Well, we can place these anywhere. So maybe that'll be a way to go. Let's just, we won't go overboard. We'll do 2 sets of 3. That should be enough in theory. We all know how I love it when things work in theory. And we'll put another block of them right here. Sure, why not? That might just work. I'll stick this on. And I also want to make these engines a little more stable. So I'm going to add a little more of this going on. Yeah, that works. Let's save this as the new Mark III. I wonder if there's anything else I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff I'm forgetting. Let's take a quick look at the staging. We don't want this engine firing at the same time as the parachute deploys, that's for damn sure. Stick that down there. And the staging everywhere else seemed to be okay. Alright, now save it. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing up in the air and, Oh, right. I almost forgot. We definitely need... Yeah. We definitely need... a... something for the other guy to ride back in. How about a hitchhiker storage container? That's a bit large. I don't want to use up that much space. How about... And bear with me here, because this might be a little crazy. But how about an external command seat? Or 3. Keep things nice and symmetrical. Did it stick the other ones on? No, it stuck 2 of them on. Well, that's probably plenty. It'll keep things balanced enough, I guess. This could be a great idea or a terrible one. And just so we can land without exploding, or at least to make things a little less bumpy, I think I will put down some landing struts. Here's some landing struts. Those are some huge-ass landing struts. Do we have any smaller ones? Those are even bigger. How about these micros? Those are kind of getting in the way of some other stuff. Alright. Go with these. But they get in the way of those seats we put on. I need to make better symmetry with the seats, I can see. Try that again. Stick those thusly. And then the struts. These struts? We've got things in the way here. Always something in the way. Okay. Maybe if we ditch some of these RCS blocks, which may not even work, and stick them on like this. That seems to be working. Sorta, kinda. Maybe, maybe. Alright, we'll go with this. See if we can launch this, get it into a kind of orbit. We need to get it into a smaller orbit than the vehicle, which is currently hovering there. And if we can get really close, we can EVA our stranded Kerbal over and drop him into one of those seats. I have a good feeling about this. 3, 2, 1, launch. Let's get him up. Get him up. Hey, it's Jebediah. He is a frickin' consummate professional. That was accidental. I heard something crash and I thought my engine had gone out. Well, no harm, no foul. I guess. A bit awkward. There we go. I think we can probably go ahead and start vectoring out a bit now. just a bit, and lock it. That's going to grow our orbit. I'll wait until the... Wow, these two vehicles are going to be orbiting in opposite directions. That's not good for anyone involved. But I'm going to get ready to cut the thrusters. Whoops. Those... there we go. That's okay, we can work with this. We have the altitude at 272 meters, and this is at 228. Well, we might want to grow that a little bit higher. That may have been a bit much. Well, we'll figure it out. For now, we need to stabilize our orbit. So we'll add ourselves a maneuver node, wherein we... That's not right at all. Wherein we grow our orbit. Well, that's a bloody mess, but I guess it's a start. We'll go with it for now. I would sort of like to get the spin under control. There we go. I wonder if our RCS is working. Doesn't really look like it. I just don't understand why this RCS stuff isn't doing it for me. I'll have to look into that later. But for now, I'd probably better maneuver myself towards where I want to be. Assuming I can find the maneuver node on here anywhere. It must be right over my prograde indicator. Well, we're going to want to... Oh, wait, nope, there it is. Stop. RCS doing nothing for me. We passed it by a long shot. It would probably be in my best interest to jettison this stage, but something tells me I'm going to need all the fuel I can get for the maneuver. So I'll hang on to it until such a time as it becomes untenable. Let's get this into position and lock her down with Mr. SAS. Is that going to bring us back? Get us into place? Kind of bounce around a little bit. We still got 6 minutes to hit our mark, so I can afford to let this stabilize a bit. Not forever, mind you. My fuel and my patience are both finite. Let's just do this manually a bit. We'll get her lined up. And there. Alright. Now we can speed things up to get a little closer to our burn window. Whoa, 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 don't miss it. Alright. Get ready. We'll start the burn at T-6. And some people were asking, yes, I am using the X button to cut my engines. There we go. Let's get us in a stable orbit. Now we just need to match it to this wacky little orbit right here. Or at least get close. Yes, it doesn't help that both of these ships that we're trying to rendezvous are, in fact, floating in different directions. In order to fix that, I could flip this orbit completely around, and I might just go ahead and do that. It's going to use a lot of fuel, but I brought enough for everyone, I think. So let's add the maneuver here, and do this thing, where I just... That's not going to work at all, is it? No, I don't think it is. I think we have screwed up Royal here. Alright, new plan. I'm going to see if I can land this sucker so we can reuse it. And make a couple of adjustments to the RCS. I really want to get that RCS working. It's pretty much completely necessary. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to ditch this. I'd like to take a closer look. See, these RCS things are not functioning at all. That's not what I wanted to click on. And I don't know why they're not firing at all. Alright, well, let's quit screwing around and see if we can just make a landing at least, without blowing everything up. So let's position ourselves retrograde, wherever that is. There it is. And we'll just fire until we can... I don't need this maneuver node anymore, that's for damn sure. Just fire ourselves retrograde until we can... Until we can get our orbit into a landing type dealy. Where are we gonna come down? Somewhere over the ocean. Didn't want that. Although I guess I have less chance of completely being obliterated if I do it that way. So we'll just go with it for now. Let's get ready. Coming in. Too fast, too fast! Alright. Speed up a little bit. Wait until we get into the atmosphere here. Coming in quick and hot. I probably want to position myself a little better so that the parachute will deploy properly. Which means, of course, positioning retrograde again. Let's just lock that in place. Not much to say about that. Speed it up a bit. Start getting down into the atmosphere. Now it's time to deploy. That. And we want to make sure that we're not screwing around too much with the time warping when it is actually when the parachute itself is actually popping. And I don't remember at what altitude this model pops open. Also, I have no idea how I was supposed to activate those landing struts anyway. Like that, I guess. You know, looking at it now, I can kind of see how that really wouldn't have worked very well. I kind of thought they'd be longer. Okay, parachute's opened, but we're close to the ground anyway, so we might as well just let it float. We all float down here. Pretty soon there's going to be an update coming. It's going to add some new parts and new buildings and whatnot. That should be fun to play with. And we've splashed down successfully. So let's end that flight. And yeah, basically right now I need to learn how to get my orbit, get into orbit where I want it. And I need to learn how to make these RCS things work. I can probably ditch those. So, that's something to shoot for. Until next time, this is your old pal Rosser. Take a drink.